Hello, my name is Dr. Danielle Curry. I am a craniosacral therapist and naturopathic physician practicing in Gresham, Oregon. This is another part of my series on how to get the most out of your craniosacral therapy treatment. Check out my other videos, I'll link down below, so you can see what other ideas I have for you on how to make this really effective therapy work even better for you. When we think about how often to receive craniosacral therapy, we're actually asking two questions. There is, how often should I be receiving craniosacral therapy in the beginning to address my primary complaint? And the next question is, should I continue receiving craniosacral therapy after that's resolved? And if so, for how long and how often? So let's address the first part, establishing care and getting started with whatever brought you in the first place. For every issue, I recommend people receive and commit to 3 treatments spaced out anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks to receive all 3 treatments. These will be the foundation of our experience with craniosacral therapy together. You'll get to have a feel for me as a practitioner or whoever else you're seeing. And you'll also get a feel for how your body is responding to the therapy. One treatment's not quite enough to get a good idea of that. When we do these 3 visits, anything can really happen. But in general, what I see is the first visit tends to be one of just general relaxation and kind of resetting in a person's system. This can help with their initial complaint, or it might not give any perceivable help, but it's setting us up for the next session. The next session, we usually go a little bit deeper into what's going on, and usually we're able to start addressing the primary concern of what brought somebody in. And then by the 3rd visit, we've gotten pretty deep into what's going on. And in a lot of cases, we have resolved the issue if it is something that hasn't been around for a really long time. After those first 3 visits, whether you continue seeing your craniosacral therapist is up to you. And this could look very different for different people. It could be a chronic, ongoing, long-term relationship where you're coming in regularly, say once a month. That's how often I see my craniosacral therapist. It could be more regularly than that for a short period of time. It could be on an as-needed basis. It really depends on you and what's going on for you. So the things that will really help us figure out what the best fit for you is, what your overall state of health is, and if you have any chronic issues, what your specific goals for receiving craniosacral therapy are, your ability to tend for your overall health in your day-to-day life, and your response to your previous visit. So first, do you have any chronic conditions? Were you ill frequently as a child? Are you recovering from an injury or a surgery? And how intense was that injury or surgery? How many areas of your body and different physiologic systems were involved? Have you had a lot of injuries or surgeries in the past? Are you currently taking any medications that affect your ability to heal faster? Have you experienced several traumatic events in your life? And are you currently being exposed to conditions that deplete your health? A good example of this is being a caregiver. Now we come to what your goals are for craniosacral therapy. What do you want from this? Are you looking to recover from just a short-lived issue? Or are you seeking support for something that has been a long-term issue that's been going on for years? Are you seeking physical treatment only? Or are you hoping for emotional integration of a past event as well? Are you working on healing your relationship with yourself and maybe those around you? Or are you seeking stress management during a trying time? That's really going to depend on and your ability to tend to your health. The more support you're able to give yourself, the less support you're going to need on someone else's table. We need to also assess your financial resources. You shouldn't be neglecting any areas of your overall life and health just so that you can receive care. Craniosacral therapy sometimes is covered by insurance and sometimes it isn't. It depends on your plan and why you're seeking craniosacral therapy. Do you have people in your life that support you? If you're getting a lot of support and encouragement from home, you probably need a little less from me. If you're not, you might need a little more. Do you have the time in your day to care for your physical, emotional, and mental needs? Do you have an outlet for fun and joy? And do you have access to healthy foods, healthy ways to move your body, and to natural spaces? And at the end of the day, do you feel like you have enough energy left over for you? Or has it all been spent caring for the needs of others? These are all things to consider. And craniosacral therapy is just one form of support that can help when you're depleted in any of these areas. What's your response to care? Some visits, you're going to come in and the treatment might feel nice, but not really profound or like you've gotten anywhere towards your goals. I look at these treatments as something that's a little bit deeper and that's a little bit more nourishing and can be preparatory, or a sign that this is no longer a support that you need or a different support is needed. When I see this happen, I often see this happen either at the very first visit, at the beginning of care, and it's kind of a getting to know you visit. And for some people, it's hard to go to that relaxed space and it takes some time to earn trust. Sometimes they see this after a more intense treatment has happened, and sometimes they see this leading up to a more intense treatment that's about to happen. If we're not seeing much change happen and you're coming in again and again, but you still have issues you're trying to work on, it might mean it's time for something else. Maybe you have more ability to move your body now with less pain and you have a little more energy. So maybe it's time to start some physical therapy or an exercise program. Maybe it's time for acupuncture because it's a different kind of mind-body energetic treatment. Maybe it's time to really focus on your mental health and be working with a counselor. Some sessions, and these are the ones that you often will hear about, have rapid and intense changes. These can be life-changing sessions, and they are a lot of fun to participate in, but they're intense. So I do see these at a few different times as well, and I don't see them all that often. Sometimes I'll see them in the very first visit, and it might be the most profound visit somebody ever has. Sometimes it will happen after one of those more gentle visits, as the body has been preparing and bolstering resources to start a whole new process. It could be after a breakthrough in other treatments that you're having or in your life with major life choices. It can come before that, or it might come after you've already made that choice and help you along your path. And then more commonly, we see something that's in between. This is the majority of what we see. These visits result in small pattern changes, insights, and relief of short-term symptoms. But usually after a good amount of time, we see those symptoms start to come back on. And so this is a sign that treatment is working well and you are progressing. And I usually see this during the second visit, oftentimes after the third visit, and usually with the routine maintenance care. So putting it all together, we're thinking about how much support your body needs, how well resourced you are. We're thinking of how long your issues have been going on and what kind of a nature are they? Are they purely physical, which is rare? Or is there more of an emotional component in there that also needs to be addressed? And we're thinking about what was your response to your last treatment? With the first 3 visits, I like to have somebody come in for their first visit. And based on how they responded to their treatment, I will recommend they come back in 1 or 2 weeks. After the second visit, again, we're going to assess how much has your body changed between the first visit and the start of the second visit? What happened during the second visit? And what are you noticing in your life? When we're doing ongoing care, again, it's going to depend on all of the things that we talked about. But if you have chronic conditions, I'm going to recommend you come in once or twice a month. If you have been working with me for a while for chronic issues and you feel pretty stable, then we might say, why don't you come back in 2 months? And sometimes people just want to come in as needed, and you're going to know when that is. So when do you come in? What's right for you? So come in as often as your resources allow. You're able to fully integrate what happens between your visits. Your visits continue to move you towards your goals, and you feel that you're benefiting from the support you're receiving. Most importantly, come back before your symptoms start to interfere with your life again, and definitely before you get back to where you started from. We don't want to have to go over the same ground again to then be able to move forward. When to wait? Whenever you need to. And when you feel like you need more time to fully process and integrate what happened during your last session. When you're adding a new treatment in and you want to focus your resources there, And if we've had several of those slow and subtle visits in a row, and sometimes after a session of rapid and intense change, it's good to wait until you feel like you need it again, unless you're feeling really imbalanced and in need of some more gentle integration, where we might have one of those super gentle, slow sessions that happens again. So receive care when you need it, wait for a better time when you don't, commit to 3 visits over the course of 3 to 6 weeks when you begin treatment. And with chronic issues, work with your provider to find a schedule of regular treatments that works well for you. And look in the description below for some links to resources to either schedule with me or to find a practitioner trained in the same school that I was trained in near you.